Okay, we are here with Tim Morehouse, who is, as many of you know, an Olympic fencer. Why don't you tell us about when you first started being interested in fencing, what led you to the Olympics, and your journey?
Yeah, I'm a New York City guy. I grew up in Washington Heights in the 1980s when the neighborhood was really struggling. I had no idea what fencing was. Around when I turned 13, my family started doing better, and I went to school at Riverdale Country School. I went to elementary school initially in East Harlem at Central Park East, and it was at the school I was having a hard time in PE, and I
Uh,
saw a sign one day that said join the fencing team, get out of gym. And so I said, sounds good to me, and not knowing what it was, I went and found the fencing room and discovered it was swords, discovered I could run around and hit people with a sword, not get in trouble, and just fell in love with it.
Now, who thought somebody who would be in, have a hard time in physical education would be in the Olympics? I mean, that's just
Yeah, it wasn't so much that I wasn't athletic or, I love baseball. It was just, I think PE class is a bit of a different beast. But,
right.
I wasn't a child prodigy. No one really expected me to go to the Olympic Games. It was just something that I had the goal and I worked really hard for a long time.
What did you do to set the goal for yourself and then eventually achieve it?
Yeah, usually the big payoff is a college scholarship.
Hmm.
So I did not get a college scholarship. I went to Division III Brandeis University, where we
Okay.
are right now at the
Uh-huh.
Brandeis University House. And I started beating scholarship athletes by my sophomore year, and I just kept working and working and working and improving. And when I graduated college in 2000, I decided why not see how far I can take it. So I set the goal to try to make the Olympic team in 2004, and simultaneously I joined Teach for America and came back and taught in inner city Washington Heights in New York City, and was teaching and training for the Olympics and was fortunate to make the Athens Games.
Hmm.
And then we came in fourth in Athens, and my teammates and I were very focused, like to try to win a medal. It's not really a U.S. sport typically, but we decided to try to overcome. We hadn't won a medal in our event since 1948, and we worked really hard from '04 to '08. I made the team again, and we had a huge upset over Hungary and Russia, two of the world powerhouses, and we brought home a silver medal for the United States.
And what is it like to win a medal at the Olympics? I mean, the feeling must be absolutely amazing.
It's like unbelievable. It was a dream come true. I actually fainted the moment that my teammate scored the point that clinched the medal for us, and it was just an unbelievable moment in my life.
Yeah. And now you're going to be training for the Olympics, obviously for
Yeah.
this year, right? Or
Yeah,
is
I
it?
just qualified.
Mhm.
They just named our team this past
Mhm.
weekend. I've been qualified for about a month,
Okay.
but now I'm officially named to the London team, and we're going to be training 5-6 hours a day, just like we have the last 4 years to get ready for London. Try to bring home a gold medal this time.
Now, do you have the same nerves going in this time around, or since you've already done it once, are the nerves less? Are they different?
I think you're always nervous. I
Mhm.
think if you're not nervous, you don't care.
Right.
So, going to these games, it's never gets old going to the Olympics, and it's going to be a really special moment again to be there representing the United States. Walking an open ceremony and try to do something really special with my teammates.
Okay. And now you mentioned that you teach inner city kids.
Yeah.
What does that do for you? I know you're giving back. Personally, that must give you a good feeling.
Yeah, I've always felt like, I love sports, but I also always want to try to contribute to our country. So I taught for 3 years. I worked in the South Bronx for 4 years, training and mentoring teachers.
Mhm.
And now I'm starting a foundation, fencing in the schools, to open fencing programs in schools that typically haven't had it. And just doing a lot to promote the sport. I founded the largest fencing spectator tournament in the U.S. in 2010, the Fencing Masters. We're
Mhm.
having the second version of it on June 26th, and we're going to have the U.S. Olympic team for London and a lot of international Olympians here competing. And I also have a book that is just coming out, American Fencer: Modern Lessons from an Ancient Sport, really about my journey from Washington Heights to winning a silver medal in Beijing. And hopefully people even not in fencing will pick it up. It's a really great story. You can get it at my website, americanfencer.com. And I think for people that don't know a lot about fencing, I think they'll really enjoy this book. I think people that enjoy sports books, it's not, you don't typically hear some of the stories from the smaller sports, but, fencers, we're still the true amateurs of the Olympic Games. We're working full-time jobs and training and bringing home medals for the country.
And now, since you are somebody who has won an Olympic medal, you are someone who teaches in inner city schools. You are a positive role model. What does that do for yourself in terms of because there are a lot of people who are not positive role models.
Yeah.
In whether it be entertainment or whatever. what does it feel like for you to give back in that way and have people come up to you and respect you and be such a positive influence on them?
I just think it's really important. I feel like as an Olympian, I have this amazing power that, kids look up to you. And I want to see our country be strong. I want to see kids, achieve their full potential. And, I'm very happy to try to be as strong a role model as I can. No one is perfect. I'm definitely a human
Right.
being. But, I take it very seriously that they're kids that look up to me. And, I know that my own story, I'm not a perfect person. I know that I wasn't the most talented guy out there, but I set big goals and I worked really hard. And I think that if you don't make excuses and do those two things of setting goals and working hard, it's really unbelievable what you can achieve.
And looking back, when you first started, did you have any idea that you would end up where you are now, or was that?
I remember, watching the Olympics as a kid and watching the Winter Games, skating around my house in my socks, like envisioning I was a figure skater. So I was always a kid that daydreamed, and I always daydreamed about, the Olympics or being a Major League Baseball player. But, as you start getting closer and closer, it's sort of interesting to see how those daydreams and dreams, you start to realize, wow, maybe I can do this if I go for it.
So in your lectures to students, PixieMagazine.com is for teens. What advice do you give them? Do you follow your dreams?
Yeah,
or?
I think, you have to find things you're passionate about. That's first. You got to love what you're doing. And don't sell yourself short. I think there are times that I've sold myself short, and you're only going to get to the bar that you set for yourself. If you set a bar here, that's the only place you're going to get to. So set a high bar. And then I think, just to go a little deeper, I think you have to find people that know your area. So if it's, you want to be an astronaut, you have to find who, how do you become an astronaut? When I wanted to become an Olympian, I said, who's training these Olympians? And I went and found the Olympic coach, and I went and modeled myself after Olympians that had come before me. How many hours do they train? What are they doing? So I think that's an important part too, is you got to find the people with knowledge and you got to go after it. Who are the experts in the field you're trying to be in, or the job you want to have, or the goal you're trying to achieve. Find people with a like-minded attitude. If you're around people who are bad influences, they're probably going to bring you down. I think I'm pretty strongly make choices about the people in my life, that they're positive, that doesn't need to be they're going for an Olympic gold in fencing,
Right.
but they're going for the gold medal in their own ways for the things they're passionate about, and I think that's very important, and not to give up. Usually most people give up when the challenges hit. If you're going to achieve your dream, you're going to have to push through challenge after challenge after challenge, and that's where the fortitude and the heart comes in to just keep going.
And you can apply that to absolutely anything. It doesn't
Absolutely
just
anything. There's nothing. Fencing, teaching,
Yeah.
Anything.
And now, what would you be doing? Speaking of doing anything, if you weren't a fencer, what would you want to do?
It's so hard. I've been fencing
Yeah.
for 20 years. It's
Yeah.
such a part of my life. But I like to think I'd be pursuing something that I love and working as hard as I can, setting big goals. Whatever it is that I do, I like to do it really well. I feel like trying to do things excellently is just how I am as a person.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. The country is very lucky to have someone that they could be proud of representing them, and
Thank you
to have
so
a
much.
positive role model representing the country. Thank you.